But it's Josh from the cloud team here at Pragma. I've got Ethan here with me, and we'll be running through iPECS Cloud version 6. So included in iPECS Cloud version 6 is also iPECS 1 version 4 and Analytics version 4. So there's obviously quite a few features and changes across all three products that we'll run through. But I'll start with iPECS Cloud. If anyone has any questions along the way, by the way, there's obviously a chat and a questions box. I think that you'll be able to type your questions in. So if you put them in there, I'll stop occasionally and try and get to all the questions. Just drop them in the chat. So this is a bit of an overview of what's coming. I won't go through these one by one now, because obviously we've got a bit more detail on them, but highlights are there's a new ACD call control license. There's ACD callback now, so callback from queue. We've got more iPECS 1 Office 365 integration, stuff like voicemail schedules for shared lines, uploading multiple images to multiple handsets, stuff like that. So first thing I mentioned was the ACD call control license. So this is a new ACD group user license. So the current license is ACD group user, and the new one is ACD user-CC, as you can see in this in the slide here. There is an additional charge in this license. That's something you need to remember, but what that enables you to do as an analytics ACD supervisor is then change an agent's state within the ACD group, so you can log them off or change their state from the analytics window. You can do silent monitoring and whisper coaching from the analytics supervisor window, and you can also do some queue control and call control. So like I say, this is all on the new license that there is an additional charge for, and something to remember is that you can't have a mix of the existing ACD group user as well as ACD CC. It's got to be either all ACD group user, so the current license are all on ACD CC, which is the new license type. So I've got a slide here that compares the two and what this gives you. So obviously quite self-explanatory. In the red, this means that on the old license type, you don't get these 4 new features, so you can't do any agent state control, for instance, on the old license. You've got to be using the new ACD CC license on all ACD group users. And like I mentioned, you can't have a mix of the old license and the new license. You've got to be fully on either one of the two. So Ethan's going to be covering the analytics, and he's got a bit more detail on this, I think, in his slides. So ACD secondary groups. So we did send out a mailer about this earlier in the week, I think on Monday. So yes, a couple of days ago. But so something you need to think about rather, is that the way ACD secondary groups are programmed is going to change in version 6. So currently it's all done ad hoc on the handset or via the iPECS 1 client. But from version 6 onwards, it will need to be done through the customer manager portal. So you see, you've got a screenshot here. There's a new menu, ACD secondary group, and it's really straightforward, really simple. As soon as an agent is assigned to an ACD group within the ACD group menu, so as soon as they have a primary group, they will then show in this ACD secondary group menu. All you need to do is come in here, select the agent, click modify, and then choose the secondary groups from the drop down. You can have up to 10 secondary groups. So in total, that agent can be a part of 11 different ACD groups. After you do this config, it works exactly like it does on the current version. You can dial a code on a phone and log into that group. You can choose or log in, log out from the group from a list within the iPECS 1 client. But yeah, it's all got to be done, all got to be managed by the customer manager portal. So this is just a screenshot. Again, on the left is the customer manager config, and on the right is the iPECS 1 screen. So it shows if you're currently using secondary groups at all, you'll recognize this, but it shows a list of all the queues that the agent can log in and out of. So all of that works in the same way. But one thing to remember, which is what we mentioned on the mailer earlier in the week, is that any existing ACD secondary group config at the time of upgrade, which is this Sunday on the 12th, will be removed. So if any of your customers are using ACD secondary groups, you'll need to reprogram that post upgrade on the Customer Manager portal. So something to bear in mind if you do have any customers using ACD secondary groups. So one of the big changes, another big change rather, to ACD is callback from queue. So we now have the ability, if a caller is stuck in a queue, they have an option to say press 1 to then log a callback. So then their call can remain the same place in the queue, and it will get presented to an agent. The agent makes an outbound call to whatever CLI was left, and they get their call back rather than having to wait on a call in a queue. So this is a screenshot from the ACD group settings screen, just an additional one to the normal settings, and it's really straightforward. You've got an option at the top for callback usage. You turn that on, and it's going to play the system prompt that we have for callback, and it will say, like I said, if you want to register a callback, press 1. I'm not sure what the exact wording is on that. We're just getting that confirmed, but it might be a bit politer than that. So there's a few other settings to think about on this. You can see below we've got what we've got there, 6 further settings. So we've got callback while preserving queued call order. So that means if that's set to use, then the callback will retain their position. So if they're at number 3 in the queue and they register a callback, it will retain that position. But if you set that to not used, then that call loses its priority and drops back to the last place within the queue. We've got registration, callback registration delay. So that's the delay before a callback joins the queue. So yeah, you can delay a callback if you wanted, and it would join at the back of an ACD queue. We've got the retry count, so self-explanatory how many times it's going to retry that ACD callback before it sort of gives up if there is any failures or anything like that. We've got the retry interval, so how many the time in between the retries. So in this example, we've got 60 seconds. So if a callback fails for whatever reason, the system will wait 60 seconds before it presents that call to an agent again for another callback. An important one is callback success connection time. So, if an agent calls back a number and it hits their voicemail and the agent hangs up because obviously they've hit their voicemail, we can set that to be not be registered as a successful call. So the callback will still remain in queue depending on what time. So you've got a maximum of 20 seconds. If you set that to 5 and an agent hears, please leave a voicemail after the beep or whatever, they can end the call, and that callback is still queued because that doesn't count as a successful callback. And then the last option there, the retention time. So, how long is that callback going to wait in queue before the system ends the call? Can't see any questions so far. So yeah, any questions, just put them in the chat. Reason codes. So we can now program ACD reason codes within the Customer Manager portal. So an additional menu, ACD not ready reason. So you can come in here, add up to 10 reason codes, and they will then display, if I share my next slide. So whenever you've got programmed in the Customer Manager, any iPECS 1 user will be able to see them. So on the right, you've got the normal ACD iPECS 1 client screen, and then previously you only had available, wrap up, unavailable, and now we've got any additional ones that are programmed in the Customer Manager portal, so they're fully customizable, enter whatever you like, and they'll appear in any iPECS 1 ACD agents. ACD agent wrap-up time extension. So again, pretty self-explanatory, I think. So an agent can set a wrap-up time, and if you have this setting on the left and enabled, set to use within the ACD group, you can extend, or an agent can extend their wrap-up time. So you can see here at the top option, agent auto switch time from work mode to ready, essentially wrap up. What is their wrap up time? In here is set to 60 seconds. And if you press extend, it's always going to extend up to that maximum time. So if I got down to 10 seconds and pressed extend, it's going to reset that timer back to a minute in this example, obviously up to 240 seconds. An agent can press this as many times as they want. We don't have a limit on how many times, so they could keep extending it over and over again, which is why we've obviously got this option to turn this off if you didn't want to give agents that ability. And obviously we've got a done button on the right to end the wrap up entirely. So sending login information to multiple iPECS 1 users. Again, pretty self-explanatory. There's a menu within the iPECS Cloud Customer Manager portal, and you've now got the ability to tick multiple users, click send login information, rather than having to go through one by one on the user setup menu and resend. So you can, do a bulk email send from this menu. Sorry, Rob, I just asked a question about ACD reason codes. Are they available as standard or only with the ACD CC? So the ACD reason codes as shown here are available in the normal ACD agent license, for the current license, ACD group user. I think if I scroll back a few more, there is a table here. So you've got, so this is on the left, the middle column is the current ACD license. So you've got ACD break reason report, so you can do that on the current license. Oh, wrong way. So next step is voicemail schedules for shared lines. So something I think we've had a few requests over the years for is the ability to upload greetings via the portal for shared lines, and we've got that now via this new menu, shared line schedule. So it works exactly like the current voicemail schedule. But now you can obviously do it for shared lines, so you can do some time customization if you wanted. But yeah, you've got that option to upload a greeting via the portal for shared lines. So display names on voicemails. So in the user portal, if customers using the user portal, they can, if they have any voicemails left and that number is in the group speed dial for the customer, it's going to present that customer name on any voicemails rather than just showing the number. It will obviously pull the alpha tag, and whatever the customer name is that you've got set will be shown. Customer-based recording tones. So you guys and the customers have the ability to upload a recording tone. So you call somewhere and it says this call is being recorded for monitoring purposes. You can upload that greeting now within the portal. So you've got the two different options: ACR, which is all calls recorded, and ODR. So ACR means that as soon as the call is answered, both the caller and the called party, so both sides of the call, cloud side and the far side, will hear this tone. And then the same for ODR. As soon as the call recording is toggled on, that greeting prompt, whatever you want to call it, is played to both parties on the call. And it's in the normal format, WAV file, 8 kilohertz, 16-bit mono. You can do that via the portal. Call recording access history. So from version 6 onwards, we'll have an audit log essentially for each call recording. So you'll be able to see who played and downloaded each call recording and what time they did that. And you can see on the left column of the image below, you've got the user ID. So depending on the user ID of either the customer manager or the customer user, it will show that user played, downloaded this call recording at that time. We don't have any historical logs, so any recordings or trails prior to version 6 won't be there, but anything from version 6 onwards, you'll have an audit log for these call recordings. I can see a question from Malcolm. Are there any plans to allow group voicemail notification to iPECS 1? So yeah, so you can see a group voicemail. Currently not aware of that. Definitely not in 6. I'd need to check 7, but I don't think so. And you've got a question, allow .wav files to be uploaded for AA greetings. So yeah, you can upload AA greetings in the WAV file format. That is how they're uploaded. Barry, is the audit log customizable in terms of permissions? So no, what you see is what you get. You'll be able to see any user, whether it's customer manager or customer user, can view and see who has played or downloaded the call recording. I can see Adam's asked me to explain this again. So this is a tone. If you're using call recording, either ACR or ODR, as soon as that call, so in an ACR for example, which is auto call recording. So all calls are being recorded. When a call is answered and an extension on the cloud has call recording turned on, if you've uploaded a file in here, this file will be played to both parties on the call. So like I say, if you call somewhere and it says this call will be recorded for monitoring purposes, you can now do that via the portal via this option. And with ODR, this tone is played as soon as you toggle on call recording. So ODR is on-demand recording. So you have a button on your phone to toggle on and off call recording. And when it's toggled on, it will play whatever greeting you've got uploaded within here. Hopefully that makes sense. So shared line support for hot desk users. So now pretty self-explanatory again. If you're a hot desk user, you can be part of a shared line. So you can get voicemail notification, shared line voicemail notification on hot desk handsets. So Malcolm's asked about the call recording tone. Is it played on answer when the call is ringing? So on answer. So as soon as the call, if you've got ACR enabled, as soon as the call is answered, either side, so if it's outbound, inbound, outbound, as soon as it's answered and both parties are connected, the call recording tone is played. ACD reason codes, can they be used on desk phone as well as iPECS 1? iPECS 1, I'm pretty sure it's only iPECS 1 because obviously you've got that visual way of selecting it from a list. Don't think there's a way of doing it from the handset off the top of my head. Well, it's a long question. 1 second. If you listen to the agent calls without the agent owner joins, they're using ACD. Background image multi-upload. So again, pretty self-explanatory. There's a new menu where you can upload images to multiple handsets at once. So you can see in this screenshot, I've got the model set to 1050i. So this is obviously 1000 series only. So our latest handsets with the color background screen as well. So you come in here, select the model type. You can select as many handsets as you want and do a background image upload. It will show you the pixel size. So the exact size of the screen and what the image needs to be, and you can upload and it will push it to all handsets if they're registered via the global provisioning. Site limit increase. So previously, current version, you could only have up to 100 sites on a customer, but as of version 6, it's 1,000 sites per customer. So user setup enhancement. So I don't know how widely used this feature is, but there's an option after you've created users to do basically a bulk change via a spreadsheet. And there's just a couple of changes within version 6 where you can assign a DDI number as well as an outgoing CLI within the sort of spreadsheet bulk upload change. So just a couple of more fields that you can sort of bulk change via a spreadsheet, via Excel. Something brand new that you guys won't have seen before is ENMS. So that's their network management system. And what you can do with your reseller account as of version 6 is see what I've got a screenshot of here. So you can see at the top, this is on our lab platform that's running version 6. I've selected customer, Pragma Lab customer, and I can see all of the terminals across that customer. So obviously grey is offline, green is online, and then we've got busy. There's a key on the right. Busy would be blue. It's got live status. This is all handset types. And yeah, like I say, your normal reseller login, whatever you use to log into the reseller OMS level portal, you can log into ENMS and see this data. I think it's pretty good. You can break it down by a customer, see that live handset extension status. And then the next slide, this is quite a low res screenshot for some reason, but you can see the trunk utilization rate. So I think maybe not so important for everyone, but maybe someone using PCI, where there's obviously a charge for the lines, they may want to closely monitor how many lines a customer is using. You can do that now within this menu and see on an individual customer basis how many lines they're using throughout the day, what are the peaks, and are they hitting any limits. So yeah, just got this visibility now via ENMS. Danny, can sites be deleted in version 6? No. So so same as now, really. You can't delete a site as such from a customer. I'll give you guys a minute or two before I move on to iPECS 1 to put any questions in the chat. So Steve, how we access the ENMS portal? So we'll provide a URL for it. It'll be a new URL, or probably enms.ipex-cloud, and yeah, normal reseller login. Can we use ENMS for live calls, testing, and incoming will ring certain phones? So yeah, so the status page here, these are all live stats. You know, as soon as a call goes, an agent or a user is busy, it will show busy within here. It's live status. So yeah, you can use it for testing or whatever you want, really. ENMS, do you get alerts? Can you automate update rollouts? So no, there isn't any, you know, SNMP alerting through this system. Update rollouts, Andy, do you mean like handset upgrades? Because you can do that via the portal, the normal customer manager portal. If a handset's been registered via global provisioning, you can push an update out via the portal for that. Or, you know, you can basically, there's a phone upgrade button, and then if the phone isn't already on the latest version that we've uploaded cloud side, it will push that update to the phone. Call recording tone can be set to play on inbound calls only. No, so it's ACR, ODR, so that'll be all calls, whether they are ACR, so all calls recorded or on demand, but we can't choose whether it's inbound, outbound only. Can we see the incoming number from ENMS? On the trunk utilization, no. So this is just you know, an overview of the trunk usage. You still have to use, you know, customer, what's it called, call recording, call detail history, or analytics for more granular detail on the calls. So yeah, Andy, yeah, on ACR that would be internal as well. Okay, sorry, I have one question about upgrades. So this is good. So, but we're going live on version 6 on the 12th. So Sunday, this coming Sunday, by about 6 a.m, everything will be upgraded and ready for you guys. This will be the same across. So this is the Pragma wholesale platform, but that's the same across anyone that's a VSP partner of ours. So like Andy, that will all be done, included on the Pragma upgrade this Sunday. That's our platform and VSPs. I know there's some other SPs that have got different dates. So we'll start on iPECS 1. Again, got an overview screen here. Updates, stuff that we've covered, like secondary groups. There's some more iPECS, Office 365 integration. Sorry, I've lost the questions. Some more Outlook stuff, a new redesign, which you may have seen already. Wrap up timer extension. So I think this is a duplicate slide, actually. I think we covered this obviously, but we can now extend wrap up using the extend it multiple times essentially. A couple of options around CRM. So this is regarding the pop-up, that obviously if you've got a contact and it matches the number calling, we can do a pop-up if you're using the CRM, the Mondigo CRM integration. So we've got a couple of options here, whether the pop-up will pop on ringing or answered. So, you know, if you go away from your desk and you've got this set to ringing, you may come back to your desk and you've got a bunch of pop-ups and you missed a bunch of calls. So you can set this to only pop a record on answered, so you don't, you know, get a call if you're on a hunt group every time a call rings the group. You can set that to be answered. So 3,000 contacts in the personal directory, up from 1,000 in version iPECS 1 version 4. Pickup group notifications. So you can see on the left, this is a screenshot from the pickup group menu within the customer manager portal. You've got an option for notification, and you can toggle that on and off. And you can see on the screenshot on the right, if an iPECS 1 user is in a pickup group, when any other member of that pickup group receives a call, they receive this pickup notification. Can everyone see the presentation? Sorry, I think Rob's got a black screen. I think I can see what you're seeing. I think it's displaying okay. If that's not the case, then stick it in the chat, but it should be working okay. Maybe leave and rejoin, Rob. Okay, James can see fine, so I think it might be your end, Rob. So this is just an example of how the pickup works. So on the left, we've got a user being called, and on the right, another person in that pickup group that can pick up the call. And this is the same for hunt groups. If a call comes into a hunt group and you're in a pickup group, as well as seeing the original calling party and the called user, you can see the hunt group name. So I should have mentioned on here as well, you can obviously see in a normal pickup, not direct to hunt group, you can see the original caller's CLI and what extension they were they called. So Microsoft integrations. So there's a few more Office 365 Microsoft integration bits in iPECS 1 version 4. So we've now got the ability to sign in via Microsoft. So that's across desktop and mobile. You can see on the right, you've now got a sign in with Microsoft option. So that then gives you that two-factor authentication. If you're using that on Office 365, obviously locks down iPECS 1 a bit more behind that TFA, Microsoft TFA that you've got. We've also got presence integration. So Teams, your Teams presence will update depending on your iPECS 1 presence. So if you go busy within iPECS 1, you'll go busy within Teams. And when you go back to available within iPECS 1, you go back to available within Teams. Pretty straightforward. All you need to do. So what I haven't included in this slide, or included in these slides, is the Microsoft Teams integration. So there is quite a few steps within Azure Active Directory. Anyone familiar with it will know that there's quite a few bits you need to do, but obviously we've got separate guides for this. But after the sync has been done to the customer's domain, what you'll see is there's a new field, AAD ID. If you select the customer's email from that drop down for the relevant user, when they go to log in, sign in with Microsoft, they're then signing into that user, and then they get all of that good stuff, all of the TFA, all of the iPECS 1 Microsoft Teams sync, presence sync, as long as they're logging in and everything's obviously set up. Will these features be available to existing iPECS 1 users straight away? Yeah, so like I say, as of the 12th, as soon as the upgrade's done, these features will be available. Yeah. As long, well, you know, you've got to do the Azure AD setup, but it will be available for configuration as soon as we go live on the 12th. So one last bit on the iPECS 1 Microsoft integration. If you're using iPECS 1 collaboration, so the sort of highest level of license that we've got that enables iPECS 1 spaces, what you'll be able to do within Outlook Calendar is add an iPECS 1 meeting. So like you can add a Teams meeting, you will have a button for add iPECS 1 meeting. And what that will do, that will schedule a Spaces meeting if you're an iPECS 1 Spaces user. It'll provide a link that you can see at the bottom of this, just like Teams. Provide a link, you can click that, log into the iPECS 1 Spaces. And this can also be used by guests. So, you know, third parties that aren't using iPECS 1 Spaces can join an iPECS 1 Spaces meeting via this link. But yeah, you've got to remember this is available via the iPECS 1 collaboration license that enables the Spaces features. So mobile app GUI revision. So you may have seen already this new app version is now live because obviously we had to get it ready in time for the upgrade. So you'll have seen there's a bit of a new look and feel to the app. I think it's a bit more responsive from my my use myself, and now it's got dark mode support, which is always nice, and a few new themes that you can obviously play around with. I won't go through this in great detail, but you can launch the app today and see what it looks like. So within iPECS 1 version 4, Edge, Microsoft Edge is now officially supported browser, whereas previously it was just Chrome. And last one on this is we've now got 9 different ringtones across desktop and mobile for iPECS 1. If users were getting bored of the default ringtone, we've now got 9 options. And that was it for iPECS 1. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes before I hand over to Ethan for the analytics side of things, if you had any questions on iPECS 1 or cloud. Any plans to group voicemail notifications on iPECS 1? I think Malcolm asked that earlier. So that isn't included in version 6. I'd need to check for the next version. And that goes the same for Darren, your question, actually, not in version 6, but I know it's something people have been asking for a while. So I need to check the next version to see if we can do anything on that in version 7. Right, so if you give me a minute, I'm going to hand over to Ethan, and he's going to show you the analytics version 4 stuff.
Oh, sorry. Right. So double check it's all recording.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Cool. Perfect. Hi guys, I'm Ethan. I'm going to be running through the analytics stuff for Cloud version 6. It's analytics version 4. So we've obviously got the contents page here, which we can we'll go through one by one. So I won't go through now, and this will be sent around afterwards. To begin with, we've got the new features where you can control agent state. So as a analytics supervisor, who is also the supervisor of an ACD group, you can log off or change the status of an agent who you might be able to see is in the wrong state. So someone leaves for lunch on the other side of the room and they've left themselves logged in. From the wallboards, you can click the 3 little dots next to their name and log them off, or change their status to be unavailable on lunch, all the status codes that we talked about earlier, or Josh talked about earlier. And you can do this from the agent status wallboard or from a custom component on a My Dashboard. So if you've set yourself up a custom wallboard, you can do it from there as well. And like I said before, it's not just logging off, it's changing the state. So you can see here the states that were set up on the customer manager portal are all listed here. So you can change their status to wrap up, unavailable, comfort break, all the stuff that you manually set up on the customer manager portal. You can also initiate silent monitoring and whisper coaching from this screen. So you can look at the list of agents and click the 3 little dots again. And then if they're on a call, you can silent monitor or whisper coach. You can also receive the requests. So if someone sends a request for whisper coaching or silent monitoring, you will get a pop-up like this on analytics, and then you can choose to accept it from there, and it will push that through to either your desk phone or iPECS 1 if you're logged in to iPECS 1 in the browser. This notification can be, the length it stays on your screen can be changed. So it's a minor thing, but within the environment settings, you can change this to stay on screen for more than or less than 10 seconds, which is the default. The other new feature is queue control. So you can pick up or move calls that you can see in the live call window. So if you're looking at the ACD wallboard and at the bottom, there's a window that shows calls that are ringing, queuing, talking to someone, you can press the 3 little dots on the left and either pick up the call yourself as a supervisor or move it to another ACD group. The caveats with moving it to another group is that you have to make sure that group can actually accommodate the call. So if it has a queue length of 10 and there's already 10 people in the queue, you won't be able to move it, and it actually has to have queuing enabled. So you can't move it to a group that doesn't have queuing enabled. In this scenario, the call stats would show this call as bounced, so it would look the same as if it had overflowed from one group to another. And again, you can do this from the preset wallboards or from the live call component on a custom wallboard in my dashboard. The live call window can now be filtered. So beforehand, you'd have all the calls in there. So queuing, ringing would all be listed in the same place. But now you can use a small filter above it to only show calls that are in the queue, or only show calls that are currently talking to agents. And when looking at missed call reports, ACD supervisors can now either make calls directly back from analytics, so they press 3 little dots, make a call, and it pushes it to the desk phone or iPECS 1 as with the other features, or they can assign the call to a callback. So as Josh discussed earlier, users can ring in and they themselves can log a callback, or if they ring in and don't log a callback but abandon their call in the queue, the supervisor can push that missed call to a callback, so log one for the caller themselves. From the agent status wallboard again, this supervisor can make a call directly to an agent. So if they're if they want to get hold of an agent, want to check if they're available, they go on the agent status wallboard. They can see that Ethan2 is available, so they click the 3 little dots and then they make a call, and again, it's pushed to iPECS 1 or their desk phone, and then they call directly over to the user. A new report's been added to analytics for the different break reasons. So this is a report where you can check per group, per reason, how long people normally sit in that reason, how many times that reason has been used in a certain period, the maximum and minimum times people spend in that state. So you could double check to make sure that the time people sit in lunch is no more than an hour. If the maximum time is 2 hours, then someone's been in that state for 2 hours. Check the average is at about an hour, that kind of thing. These reason codes are also now shown up on all of the reports where previously you would see, for instance, agents going unavailable or available or logging off, logging out. All of those reports you could look at before now show the reasons as well. So it will show you when someone went into lunch, when they came out of lunch, if they went, on comfort break, went to the toilet, how long they were in that state, that kind of thing. So these are just shown on the different the agent status wallboard and the call summary wallboard. The ACD wallboard has new KPIs and on the reports as well. So you now have callback stats. So you've got callback requested, which will be the amount of callbacks that have been added to the queue. So amount of times people have either pressed the button themselves or a supervisor has placed a callback into the queue. How many are currently sitting in the queue waiting? So that says 1 there, so there's 1 in the queue. How many have been answered? So how many have got to the front of the queue and picked up and then connected to the outside party? And then callback failed is when the callback has got to the front of the queue, the call has been made out, but after ringing through the amount of callback attempts that Josh discussed earlier, they still haven't been picked up. So that callback has failed and it's now dropped from the queue. And these have also been added to the end of the reports, the ACD group reports, where you've got missed, bounced, answered, that kind of thing. But then at the end, you've got requested, answered, and failed, and amount of time, average time, sorry, to first callback try. Earlier, I touched on this when I was talking about the call being shown as bounced, but there's now more accurate stats around when calls are moved from one group to another. So when a call is forwarded from one group to another, or when a call is sent to the ACD queue timeout destination, this is now shown as bounced instead of missed or abandoned. So you get a better idea of which calls were actually missed and which calls were just moved on somewhere else before they were answered. And you can see on here, this has now been changed on group summary wallboards, extension wallboards, and then those 5 reports listed there. So the kind of final big ticket feature is the consolidated reporting groups. So currently, you may or may not know that on the OMS portal, you can group customers together in a customer group, which would allow them to call one another using a code across different tenants. A similar feature has been added in analytics, or at least it's set up a similar way, where you can group multiple tenants together and allow a supervisor on one of those customer tenants to see data for all of those customers. So like here, you can see there's a new filter added on the wallboard that says customer, and I can select, 1, 2, multiple customers and see all the data from all of them together. I may have confused things by saying it's not linked to the customer grouping on OMS, but it's just a similar process of linking multiple customers together, in this case to see their data, and obviously on the OMS it's to link them in a way where they can call one another. This is something that will need to be requested from the orders and provisioning team. So if a ticket's logged with OMP where you request that customer X, Y, and Z are grouped together in a analytics consolidated reporting group, we will then, or as per your instruction, we will assign one supervisor to be a kind of top level supervisor that can see all data across all the tenants, and then that user would have the power to, from that point on, give other people access. So we just need to do the initial setup where we group the customers together, and then the nominated supervisor can nominate other supervisors to see the data. That's it from me. I haven't seen any questions pop up, but I will give you guys a sec in case anyone has any questions. Okay, I can see a few here that I'll read through. 1 second. We've got I can see a question. What's the limits on groups? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the limits on groups. Do you mean the amount of groups you can have? I'll wait and see if that pops through. I'll go to the next one for now. Is there anything for a master login if the client has got a lot of different sites? So you would have an initial supervisor who would be able to nominate other supervisors to see all data, but that initial supervisor would be set up by us and would have to be removed by us in the first instance. So it would have to be someone who would have the power to nominate or remove other people. And I think, yeah, you would have to log back through with us to say if that needed to be changed, who that was. Could you clarify the group calls reporting bounce rather than missed reports? So let me go back here. So calls are now shown as bounced in the scenarios listed there. So beforehand, sometimes a call could bounce from one group to another. So it would ring in one group and then forward on from one hunt group to another, and would be listed as then missed in that group, because theoretically that group has missed the call and then it's passed it on to another group. Whereas now it would report it on it as a whole. So it's been bounced between X groups, but then it was answered at the end or missed at the end. And the same with ACD queue timeouts. So if you're sitting in a queue for 2 hours and then you time out, as long as it then goes to another group, it's only been bounced from the first group, not missed. It would then be missed at the second group if the second group missed it, or answered at the second group. Can supervisors be set to only see certain extensions on analytics? Yes, they can. There's a setting called organization setting, or the menu called organization setting rather, where you can manually set up departments and divisions, and then you can put anyone or anything in specific divisions, and then limit the supervisor to only see division X, Y, or Z. Are you able to give me some information on how I can look into that, please? Question around the master login. Yeah, so if you have, say, a test account where you would be able to, if you have an account where you have analytics set up, maybe in-house or something like that, we could get one set up for you. So we could make, for instance, your extension the supervisor who can see all the data for multiple tenants, and then you would be able to see what that looks like from a supervisor point of view.
It's Josh here again. If no one else has got any questions, then we'll end it there. Obviously, we can reach out to us if you do have any questions, or the support team. We've got knowledge base articles for all of the stuff we've covered as well. So hopefully they can answer any questions as well. But yeah, thanks for your time this morning, guys. Hope you found that helpful. We are running another one Thursday. If you want to sit through it again, or if you've got anyone else in your team that couldn't make it, we've got another one of these running same time, a couple of days time on Thursday. So yeah, thanks for your guys' time. We'll catch you soon.